Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a technical issue here. So we are back. We don't have the defending champion in the field either today, Gishev, who will be joined through on his time and put a bit last year in 2024 right here at the YAS Marina circuit, but this year is over in America in the VIR, and he's the only driver in the fun at the moment, 24.913. That is 7/100ths of a second faster than our Pulse who is here with us for potentially one weekend. If not, it would be great to see him as a vice champion multiple times over. They're looking for that crucial top step of podium at the end of the championship. Currently sitting in 8th position at the moment. He's just about to come across the line as well. So let's see if there's improvement from him and how far up the order he will go, as he is now second quickest with a 1:58.608. But Jordan Doreshka comes across the line and goes second fast now with a 1:58.602. 0.3 of a second off of our pole sitter provisionally of Alexander Novichkov. But now into the top two goes Harry Hannum, the champion of the Clio Cup Middle East last year. He did one round with us here at the Golf Radical Cup last year, which was in the Super Prix. Great to see him here now for a full season at Golf Radical Cup, and great to see what he can do as well. It's interesting because I would have thought he would be in the national category, but because of his championship and obviously the amount of racing that he's done, he's actually in the overall category with the likes of Alexander Novichkov and a few others in the field here. So Usman Bagal now sits 4th, just behind Jordan Doreshka. And then we have Alex Mukunchdov, former champion of the series, in 5th position with a 1:58.665. Andy Lowe now down to 6th position with Vasily Vanikin, 7th. Stephen Shanley, who joins us this season here, hopefully for more outings than just the first one, now sits 9th, because Alexander Klebanov moves up into 8th position. Another driver who participated in the Clio Cup Middle East Championship last year has made the jump over here to Golf Radical Cup Racing. Marcel Kopp now down in 11th position, with newcomer behind him as well, Alain Alfonsi in 12th at the moment, 2:29.79. Johnny Kazoum returns to the championship as well after a long summer break of cycling and relaxing and enjoying life. Now back behind the wheel of a race car is the Lebanese driver here, 13th provisionally with a 2:03.719. And Lila Gallo, in 14th position at the moment, behind the 28th with Alexander Kuchava, a driver who did both Golf Radical Cup Racing and Clio Cup Middle East last season. Here and there sits 15th with a 2:06.057, with Yahid Karim in 16th at the moment on an outlap here. So gone into the pit lane just to have a few tweaks here and there, just to try and get that set up absolutely right here before Optimus. And then back at the tail end of the field is the 87 of Alexis Salandin. As you said, 18 drivers were entered, but Harry Daramas is not here today. He'll be joining us tomorrow for the endurance race, as Alex Mukunchdov now tops the timing sheets here with a 1:57.657, and no longer has the number 1 on his car that will be reserved for Gishev, as he was last year's champion. Now Alex Mukunchdov returns with the 63 attached to the side of this car. Harry Hannum in the 19th, sits second at the moment. A 10th of a second separate those two, with Alexander Novichkov sitting in 3rd at the moment. 2/10 off of pole position for the time being, and about a 10th of a second from Harry Hannum's time to secure his place on the front row of the grid. Usman Bagal in 4th position at the moment, Doreshka in 5th. Vasily Vanikin still 6th for the time being. Johnny Kazoum has worked his way up now into 7th position and leads the national category at the moment, ahead of Andy Lowe and Amir Faison. He's the highest placed driver in that category at the moment. Overall is Alex Mukunchdov and Harry Hannum. The 87 moves up now into 15th position, Saladin behind the wheel of that car with a 2:03.341 as his fastest lap last time round. But Mukunchdov still has the time to beat, a 1:57.657 at the moment, a 10th of a second separating himself and Harry Hannum. Alexander Novichkov coming across the line now. Let's see an improvement from the number 8 as he works his way through turn 16. Will he make his way back onto the front row of the grid? Not quite. Looks like he's dived into the pit lane here as the number 8, with 7 minutes remaining on the clock, or over 7 minutes actually remaining on the clock. Time to do some final tweaks, get that set up just right, and have one final lap around and go for that pole position. But taking away from a former champion is going to be quite a tough ask. 21 Usman Bagal across the line here, currently sitting 5th at the moment, is the number 21. With Mukunchdov still leading, but Harry Hannum now working his way across the line in the 19. Is there improvement from the young British driver? No, he will come into the pit lane by the looks of it as well, as will Alex Bukanchov. So a top three now, all in pit lane for some final adjustments here before the session comes to an end. A couple of lap times being deleted here and there, but no changes at the sharp end of the field so far. As Jordan Vileshka up into 4th position. Kind of 11th had a lap time deleted. There's Alexander Klebanov down in 13th at the moment. Lap 6 was removed. The track limits down at turn 1. Car number 7, also a similar situation there. Track limits at turn 7, so that lap time was deleted, and that's Yahid Kardim, who unfortunately is at the tail end of the field here at the moment with a fastest lap time of 202.646 as his best lap time. However, I think that's a lap that's been deleted because it says now his best lap time is a 207.559, so he's got to really pick up the pace if he wants to be inside the top 10 when we get this race started later on today. 2 races today at 25 minutes apiece. Both of them will be sprint races, and tomorrow we'll have a 45-minute enduro for the 3rd and final race of what is round 1 of the 24-25 Golf Radical Cup here at the YAS Marina circuit. A great place to start the series here. It's been quite some time since we've been racing. The last race was down at the Autodrome all those months ago, but here we are for round 1 of the championship. And of course, we're setting up the field now as both Harry Hannam and Alexander Novichkov are out of pit lane. But our pole sitter, our provisional pole sitter, well, now he makes his way out of pit lane. So he's got a gap between himself and the 19 and the 8, whereas both Harry Hannam and Alexander Novichkov have gone out together. As onto the back straight goes Harry Hannam, and then that sits in 2nd overall. Car number 11 has had a lap time deleted. That is Alexander Klebanov, again has had a lap time deleted, and he's made his way right up into the top 8, but I have a feeling that lap time will be removed. It says lap 7 is being removed, but it says they've only done 6 laps on our timing screen. So that is interesting. Yahid Kardim puts a time of 2:2:57 on the board, puts him 12th quickest. As Amir Faislin, who sits 10th at the moment, is currently in the pit lane, and he makes his way out of the pit lane here for Dream Racing, who've come in to this race in the season opener here with a 5-car assault, including former champion Alex Bukanchov in the 63. Now, where are our top 3 at the moment? Well, Harry Hannam's working his way through turn 9 in the 19. Alexander Novichkov's about a quarter behind him as he works his way over the sector 2 timing beacon. So a bit of clear air in front of him, and the 63 is, give or take, about 2 corners back at the moment. Our provisional pole sitter for the time being is Alain Alfonsi, now dropped down to 16th at the moment. The 2:01.940 is his best lap time on the board. That was on the previous lap that he did there. Stephen Chamley up into 13th. But Alexander Klebanov has just bumped him down into 15th. Now we have a yellow flag at turn 4. Now the last car to go through there was the 76. The 33 is currently working its way through, but that's been withdrawn. So it may have been a quick spin, and off they go. Through turn 5 goes the 33, and the 76 now down onto the back straightaway. But now Harry Hannam across the line. What can he do in the closing stages of this qualifying session here to set the field up for race number 1 of round 1 of the Golf Radical Cup here? Bukanchov is your pole sitter with a lap time of 1:57.657 to beat. What can the number 19 of Harry Hannam do, or what can the number 8 of Alexander Novichkov do as he works his way now into the penultimate, or the closing stages of this race? Across the sector 1 timing beacon goes the number 8, Novichkov. Novichkov has done sector, oh no, it's Usman Magal now who goes 3rd fastest, as Alexander Novichkov down into 4th position, with Usman Magal going quickest through sector 3. It was purple there, but Alexander Bukanchov has gone purple through sector 1 with a 24.741 for the former champion. This is the 10th and the 2nd on the road from Harry Hannam. Johnny Kazum is on his outlap, and Amir Faislin as well on his outlap as well. So things are going to get tense here in the last 2.5 minutes of sprint qualifying here at the YAS Marina circuit for round 1 of the Golf Radical Cup. Now, Harry Hannam's come across the line, but it's yellow through sector 2, unfortunately for him. Bukanchov was on a quick lap here. Bukanchov working his way down through turn 8 at the moment. What about Alexander Novichkov? Also yellow for him as well, a 53.162. That's 2 seconds slower compared to Harry Hannam. But what about Alex Bukanchov? He's going to extend that gap to the front and make it that much more difficult. 50.255, 4/10 of a second faster compared to Harry Hannam. Car number 11 has another lap time deleted. There's Alexander Klebanov, who's had another lap time removed from him. Through the third and final sector will come Alex Bukunchtov, and it should give us enough time for one more lap as Harry Hannam is across the line. Will be an improvement from him? No, he looks like he's going to come straight into the pit lane. A last-minute adjustment, but on the 1:57.657 is the quickest lap. No, he's gone across the line, so he will not go into the pit lane. He will stay out, and then this is his last chance to be on the front row of the grid. Well, he is there for the time being, but he wants to be one position higher as Bukunchtov makes it that much more difficult and makes that gap 4/10 of a second now between himself and second place. 4/10 of a second, a 1:57.375, and a purple through sector 3 as well with a 42.379. There's one Magala across the line there with a 2:05.555, but that is not his best lap time so far. 7/1000 of a second behind Harry Hannam is Magal at the moment. That is the gap between those two, a 1:57.786 compared to a 1:57.793 for those two, and that's the difference between the second row of the grid and the first row of the grid for the time being. Novichkov a 10th of a second back from Usman Magal at the moment, but will there be improvement this time round? He's the slowest of the top 4 through that first sector. Quickest actually was Usman Magal, who sits in third position. So will this be an improvement for him? Will it put him on the first row of the grid here as Amir Faisalin goes green through all 3 sectors with a 1:59.167 across the line? That's good enough for 7th at the moment, with just under 20 seconds remaining on the clock. We come now to the end of the session here. Does Harry Hannam, Usman Magal or Alexander Novichkov or the rest of the field have anything in store here for our current pole sitter Alex Bukunchtov as he's through sector 2 there with a 51.22, 3/10 of a second faster compared to Harry Hannam, and the checkered flag will now be shown to Alexander Klemenov in the number 11. There he is, he's the first one to see it across the line. Next through will be the 28, and that is Lena Gallo, who is down in 17th at the moment, 2:02.730 for Lena. She makes her way across the line. Now, 2 laps are being removed from car 33 as Harry Hannam across the line there. A quick sector 3 time with a 42.264, but not good enough for pole position. It was an improvement though at the line as well, a 1:57.644 for Harry Hannam. Alexander Novichkov has come across the line as well with a 1:58.079 last time round. The fast lap there, a 1:57.936. That put him for 4th position. But what about Usman Magal? What can he do now across the line? Can he make his way onto the front row of the grid? He can't. He has to settle for 3rd here at the YAS Marina circuit. Jordan Dulashka across the line as well for 5th position in his first outing here in the Gulf Radical Cup. Vlasny Vanakin with 1:58.416 last time round. But what about this time? Can the Cypriot put his car on the front row of the grid alongside Alex Bukunchtov or Harry Hannam? Well, no, it would only be Alex Bukunchtov actually he could line up alongside as he makes his way through. Amir Faisalin now coming through the final corners, as is Andy Lowe and Alexander Chichava as well in the 4 and 32 respectively. Andy Lowe there across the line, green through sector 2, but no improvement unfortunately up the grid positions. He'll settle for the 5th row of the grid, and Vasily Vanakin across the line there in 6th position. Amir Faisalin, his show has not come through and across the line yet. Now there was a yellow flag being shown towards the end of the track, and now Amir Faisalin has come in, so we just wait for Yahid Karim and Alan Alfonsi to come across the line. Our last 2 here. Now 11th is where Yahid Karim is at the moment. He's gone green through sector 1, but he's had a slow sector 2 time of 1:10.818, so unfortunately no improvement for Yahid Karim when he comes across the line now in the number 11. Well, he should have done actually, but now because of that spin he's a bit further back than he should be, and Alan Alfonsi comes into the pit lane there and have to settle for the 8th row of the grid in 16th position. Yahid Karim across the line now in the number 7. And now he goes into the pit lane there on the very end there. But this is how they'll line up. Alex Bukunchtov will share the front row of the grid with Harry Hannam. Behind them will be Usman Magal and Alexander Novichkov in the 21 and the number 8. The line, it was a 1:57.452 for Alex Bukunchtov, and that was the time to beat. No, it wasn't, because it was a 1:57.375 was the time to beat. Harry Hannam there on the last lap there, getting a 1:57.644 for an improvement to keep his position on that first row of the grid. The margin of pole position, 0.2 of a second separating the 63 and 19. Usman Magal, Alexander Novichkov will share the second row of the grid with Jordan Dolashka and Vasily Vatikin sharing row number 3. Amir Faisal and Johnny Kazoum will share the 4th row of the grid, with Andy Lowe and Alexander Chajava sharing the 5th row of the grid. And inside the top 10, Yahid Karim and Stephen Chanley will share the 6th row of the grid, with Marcel Kopp, Alexis Shaladin sharing row number 7. Alexander Klebanov and Alan Alfonsi will share row number 8, with Lina Galo sharing, or by herself there actually, at the tail end of the field in 17th and 28. The entire field separated by 5.355 at the line. And 2 best times actually set there on the very last lap. Harry Hannon was one of them, and then the other one was Marcel Kopp in the 13. So that wraps up sprint qualifying here at the YAS Marina circuit for round 1 of the sprint qualifying and the championship here. So let's have a quick look at when the first race will be live here. It'll be 11:55 live here from the YAS Marina circuit. Up next, though, we have Pro Car. And as we said, that brings an end here to sprint qualifying here at the YAS Marina circuit for round 1. Let's check out some highlights here from the first live session of the Golf Radical Cup, and let's see how Alex Bukanstov got that all-important pole position to start exactly where he wants to in the 25-26 season.
करीब को जो शॉट गया ना जी, उसका बैक फोकस आउट